Now at 3:30, Target is facing a boycott threat over its LGBTQ support. The retailer has announced it is pulling some Pride merchandise from its shelves. It is a decision that is infuriating the gay community and its supporters.
KTLA 5's Lauren Lister has more on this controversy from Beverly Grove.
Hi there. New reaction to a decision from Target, the chain deciding to pull some of its LGBTQ+ merchandise from its Pride offering. The chain says it made the change because of intense backlash from some customers.
Really disappointing that they pulled some of it.
Outside West Hollywood Target, reaction to the chain's decision to pull some LGBTQ+ merchandise from its Pride collection. We bumped into actress Saffron Burrows.
I identify as LGBTQ, and my kids are really proud of the fact that when we go to Target, there's all this Pride Month and Pride awareness, and they feel it makes them feel really good that our family is affirmed.
In a statement, the company writing, since introducing this year's collection, we've experienced threats impacting our team members' sense of safety and well-being while at work. Given these volatile circumstances, we are making adjustments to our plans, including removing items that have been at the center of the most significant confrontational behavior.
Target took the necessary steps to protect its frontline workers, but it really is about how they proceed in the days following.
CEO of the LA LGBT Center calls for more transparency from Target to learn more about what specifically is being eliminated and about the strategy. Leader of the National Pride Alliance also reacting.
It's sad, but it is a reality that I know that we're facing within the community at this point in time across the country, that we are dealing with those who are not supportive of the movement and those of us who are not supportive of our community.
At the Target on La Brea and Santa Monica, the offering for Pride Month, held in June, is fronted in the store. But Target confirming it has moved its Pride collection to the back in some southern states after backlash in those areas.
1 year later.
And Target is reportedly pulling LGBTQ-themed merchandise from certain locations during Pride Month. Bloomberg reports the move follows a backlash blamed for a drop in sales last year. Some stores had to remove items after a spike in confrontations between workers and customers.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Target, who faced massive backlash last year over their LGBTQ clothing for children during Pride Month. And they kind of had a Bud Light moment, as you guys can see here by looking at their chart of their stock price over a year. As you can see, going into Pride Month at the beginning of May, their stock price started to decline going into June, which is Pride Month, and it basically tanked most of the end of last year and has started to recover. And they don't want to have another Bud Light moment because news have just come out that, hey, you know, they're going to abandon their Pride collection for kids, okay? They're going to cut that out because, again, they lost $9 billion in market cap after that happened. And again, they have recovered a lot of that. But the fact that Target is deciding this year, going into Pride Month, that, hey, you know what, we're going to not get on board with this year, right? We're not going to go along with this. Tells you everything you need to know about how it really didn't work out for them from a capitalist perspective. And this story is important because you have a lot of these companies that are pushing woke capitalism, right? They're trying to use wokeness as a way to make money. Now, again, they're doing this because they believe that young people that are currently receiving a lot of money and wealth, because we are experiencing a massive transfer in wealth from boomers to younger generations. And again, some of these younger generations, Gen Z, millennials, they're a lot more liberal than the older generations. And that wealth transfer, in my opinion, is part of the reason why you're seeing these companies go woke, okay? Because they want to weaponize wokeness, social justice, as a way to try to make money. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, right? And in this case with Target, I would argue that it backfired, just like it backfired on Bud Light. And this is something to pay attention to because a lot of these companies are learning the hard way that, hey, when you get in bed with people who tend to be very emotional about these issues to the point of extremism sometimes, that could hurt your company, right? Whether that be when it comes to, in this situation right here, dealing with customers. But then you also have other situations when it comes to the pro-Palestinians. A lot of these people that are employed at these companies they're protesting on the job, right? And these companies are having to fire these individuals because they're letting their political beliefs get in the way of doing work. And ultimately, at the end of the day, these companies don't exist to push social justice. They exist to make money. They're just weaponizing social justice in order to do so, right? And so what you're saying is that a lot of these companies are saying, you know what, we're going to back away from, some of these social justice movements because, hey, it's backfiring on us in multiple ways, okay? I mean, you're saying what is happening at some of these college and universities is backfiring on them, okay? Pushing this type of extremism on campus to the point where you have universities like, for example, MIT, which is probably one of the best universities in the world for engineering and math and things like that. They say, hey, we're going to back away from the woke diversity agenda, at least when it comes to trying to compel students to virtue signal their wokeness during the admissions process.
Massachusetts Institute of Technology is dropping a requirement that prospective hires make a diversity statement, becoming the first elite university to throw away this practice. Previously, MIT required applicants to write, quote, a statement in regards to their views on diversity, inclusion, and belonging, including past and current contributions, as well as their vision and plans for the future in these areas. MIT President Sally Kornbluth defended this decision, telling Rising in a statement, quote, my goals are to tap into the full scope of human talent to bring the very best to MIT and to make sure they thrive once here. We can build an inclusive environment in many ways, but compelled statements impinge on freedom of expression and they don't work. Responding to her comments, former Republican presidential candidate and talk show host Larry Elder took to X to write, quote, duh, one need not go to MIT to figure this out.
Yeah, so expect more of this because, again, woke corporate America and academia and the Democrat Party, politics, academia, and businesses are figuring out, maybe, just maybe, we want to back away from this extreme left-wing agenda in certain ways because it's not working out, right? And again, in some cases, it's backfiring. It backfired on Target, and now you're seeing them saying, hey, you know what? We're only going to offer this product collection in select stores, aka extremely liberal areas of the country where we won't get that much backlash for doing it. And they're just cutting the LGBTQ apparel for kids altogether. So without further ado, let's read this. Target will limit which stores sell LGBTQ-themed products following last year's firestorm over its decision to sell products designed for transgender people. The retailer said Thursday that it would be selling its Pride merchandise in a select number of its nearly 2,000 stores and on its website this year, citing historical sales performance. It added that in addition to selling LGBTQ-themed home and food and beverage items, apparel from its Pride collection this year will be tailored to adults. No Pride apparel for children will be sold. Yeah, so again, they must have lost a ton of money on this, right? That's the only reason they're doing it, because if they made a bunch of money, okay, then they'd be pushing it even more, okay? And they would just say, hey, screw you guys that have a problem with this. We're making a ton of money. But the fact they're not making a ton of money tells you everything you need to know about what the market, aka the people, think about this, right? There's not a strong market for this, okay? That this does not make companies money when they try to market using social justice, right? When they do this stuff, it actually is more of a turnoff than it is something to be used to make money, right? So this is what you're saying, okay? You're saying that, hey, maybe this is not the best idea, right? Maybe we should not get political. Maybe we should stay out of politics. Let's just focus on, our core business, right? And not virtue signaling to a very small minority of people in this country at the risk of upsetting the majority, because that's exactly what happened. Again, to the point where they lost a ton of money on it. And that they did because they are abandoning the most controversial part of what they were selling, right? The latest decision, first reported by Bloomberg News, represents a change from offering the products in all Target stores as the company has done in previous years. Quote, Target is committed to supporting the LGBTQIA plus community during Pride Month and year-round, a spokesperson for the company said in an email on Friday. Quote, most importantly, we want to create a welcoming and supportive environment for our LGBTQIA plus team members, which reflects our culture of care for the over 400,000 people who work at Target. We have long offered benefits and resources for the community, and we will have internal programs to celebrate Pride 2024, the spokesperson added. AKA, look, we'll do it with our employees, right? We'll celebrate them, but we're not doing any of this outward virtue signaling anymore by trying to sell these products directly to consumers because, again, it's just not worth it. Last year, Target was the focus of a social media fueled boycott by some shoppers who disagreed with the retailer's decision to sell swimsuits for trans people, with many individuals falsely accusing the retailer of selling them to children. The retailer's pride theme clothing for children included apparel with supportive slogans such as "Just Be You" and "Trans people will always exist." Target has spent the better part of a decade publicly supporting the LGBTQ movement following a controversy involving its CEO's donations in 2010 to a group that supported a gubernatorial candidate who opposed gay marriage. But last year's backlash resulted in the company pulling trans-oriented products from its shelves amid scenes of store employees being harassed by customers. Again, that's not right, okay? That's not something that anybody should be supporting. It's not the fault of store employees that the executives at the company decided to virtue signal and to alienate their customers. I'm pretty sure these employees did not have anything to do with that decision. And on top of that, it's not necessary and it's not really helping the cause, right? At the end of the day, what really matters is green, right? What matters is the money, okay? And Target is responding to the money. That's what they're responding to. Bud Light faced a social media firestorm last year after transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney appeared in an online ad for the company. Sales of the popular American beer brand dipped and calls for boycott surged after the spot. Several weeks ago, NBC News was first to report that Best Buy offered to screen LGBTQ nonprofit donations earlier this year following pressure from a conservative nonprofit. Quote, "Nothing has changed in the ways we give to the LGBTQIA plus organizations," Charlie Charlson, a spokesperson for Best Buy, said in a statement earlier this month. "At Best Buy, we strongly believe in an inclusive work environment with a culture of belonging where everyone feels value and has the opportunity to thrive." Target said in its statement Thursday that it will continue to support LGBTQ organizations, including the nation's largest LGBTQ advocacy group, the Human Rights Campaign, and to spotlight LGBTQ-owned brands throughout the year. Kelly Robinson, the HRC's president, said in a statement on Friday that companies need to understand that community members and allies want businesses that express a full-hearted support for the community, aka you need to virtue signal for us, right? You need to come out here and to push it, right? And to be 100% on board with us, okay? Screw your bottom line. You have to support us or you're bigoted, right? Or you are, homophobic, transphobic, etc., okay? Target's decision is disappointing and alienates LGBTQ plus individuals and allies at the risk of not only their bottom line, but also their values, she said. Well, I can't tell because, again, if this wasn't hurting their bottom line, aka doing what these people want Target to do, then they wouldn't be doing this, right? They would be continuing to sell the clothes and being unapologetic about it, right? They just be like, you know what, we're going to do it and screw what anybody has to say about it, right? We don't care about the backlash because we're making money. The fact is the market has spoken and they basically told Target that, hey, this is not in your best interest from a capitalist perspective, right? That's simply what's happening here, okay? But again, enough is never enough for some of these people. Target has come out here and said, look, we are not making money off this. In fact, we're losing money off of this. And we're going to support the LGBTQ community by, donating to nonprofits and supporting LGBTQ-owned brands and stuff like that, right? We're going to support them in a way that is not a threat to our bottom line. But again, the activists are saying, well, that's not enough, right? You're folding to the conservatives and the right-wing pressure. Again, these people don't care about the bottom line. They really don't. They care about their agenda and their agenda only, right? They don't care if Target goes bankrupt and loses business and money and lays off LGBTQ plus people because of all the money that they're losing, because that's ultimately what happens, right? When these companies lose money, virtue signaling, who suffers? Well, the people that suffer are the employees, some of whom are LGBTQ. In fact, I would argue that the most LGBTQ plus thing that you can do is to make sure that you're doing what's best for your bottom line, because ultimately, I think it's in their best interest for the company to make as much money as possible, regardless of how they make the money, because that ensures that they will be employed and that they will have more opportunities to make more money and to live better lives. But again, they don't understand this stuff. Again, it reminds me of the trans activists that were upset with Netflix and the Dave Chappelle special. It's like, well, you guys are upset about jokes, but without Dave Chappelle, okay, and people like him bringing Netflix a bunch of money, you wouldn't be employed, right? These individuals don't understand that you don't have enough market power to make up for all the money that is lost, right, when these businesses do what's best for their bottom line. So therefore, you only really have so much power and control over what these companies do, right? If you start to tell them to do things that makes them lose money, then they're not going to go along with what you're saying, right? Ultimately, they're going to go along with whatever makes them the most money, whatever is best for their bottom line. And that is what Target is doing. And this is why they're rolling back on pushing a lot of this stuff this year during Pride Month. And I think that you're going to see a lot of companies basically decline to, push this stuff during Pride Month. And I think a lot of it has to do with it going into an election year, right? More people are engaged in politics because, again, we do have an election coming up. So all eyes will be on these companies. You have a lot of the far left extremism in the spotlight due to the pro-Palestinian protests. Again, if you look at the flags of a lot of these individuals, right, everybody knows, okay, all of these people, are kind of on the same team, right? And, a lot of these companies really don't want to be associated with it because it's not popular, right? Again, especially considering how Trump is not in office. A lot of this stuff is backfiring on the left in these woke companies and academia and Democrats, and they're realizing that, and that's why you're seeing them kind of back away from it because they're like, okay, well, this is not really helping us out anymore. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.